Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently trading at 40,021, up 0.95%. Ethereum trading at 2430, up 6.37%. If you're new to the channel, I'd like to let you know that everything I do for you is free. We're a community-driven channel. I read every comment and I love the feedback of the things that you want me to cover. I really appreciate that. Please let me know how I can assist. Twice a day, 7 days a week, I share my experience as a full-time technical trader with over 20 years of experience to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Over many decades, I've created literally thousands of rules to help me personally to create more profit and less loss. I love to share these rules with you. Rule 184, profit requires patience. Now you say, Ken, what do you mean? Leo Tolstoy had a pretty good concept on patience. He said, two of the most powerful warriors are patience and time. Tolstoy was a Russian writer, very incredible talent. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature every year from 1902 to 1906, and the Nobel Peace Prize in 1901, 1902, and 1909. Incredible intellect. Mahatma Gandhi was an Indian lawyer who led a non-violent resistance to free India from British rule. He said, to lose patience is to lose the battle. Now you say, Ken, okay, I got it, but how does this relate to investing and trading? I'm glad you asked that question. It's really important. When it comes to trading and investing, you have to be patient. Prices can look like they're getting away from you. It can happen all the time, but it's not real. You'll see throughout this episode that I give you background data on how to control your patience. It's really, really important. Good things don't happen in a day, and you're seeking life-changing wealth. Patience is critical. Time in the market really makes a difference, but you also have to buy well. Rule 174, the TQ method, trend, timing, and trigger. We're going to look at timing in this particular episode. We're going to go through the KS method for timing. The first thing we do is to look at the news from the eyes of someone who is quite new to crypto. Now, what do we got here? MicroStrategy pledges to add more Bitcoin to the balance sheet. Oh, that's pretty cool. What's this guy? He's got red eyes. That looks a bit demonic. Hope he's all right. A US company has turned a former coal plant into a gas-fired, oven or something? Oh, Bitcoin mine. Okay, pretty cool. Bitcoin mines, sort of gold mines or something. Remember, we're looking at this from the eyes of people that don't know anything about crypto. It's a good place to start. 3 reasons why the new Bitcoin will drive Bitcoin higher. Oh, a Bitcoin. Where do I buy that? Interesting. The best Bitcoin casinos. Oh, I can gamble. I thought I did that with leverage. Bitcoin traders express mixed emotion about what's next. Oh, that's a first. Bitcoin bull grabs market as Friday's 1.7 billion monthly options something expire. Oh, I wish we'd been tracking that. Hang on a sec, we have been. Pretty cool. Bitcoin mining again? Operations reveal plans to convert coal ash something. Oh, that conversion must be cool. Bitcoin's biggest corporate investor posts a $299 million loss. Oh no, that's bad. MicroStrategy owns more Bitcoin than any other corporation in the world. Posts biggest loss ever. That's shocking. Market wrap, Bitcoin stalls near 40K as buyers take profit. No, profit is good. Reasons, withdraw, Bitcoin from exchanges. Okay, interesting. There's quite a bit of data here about MicroStrategy. Why don't we look into that a little bit more? And of course, this is Michael Saylor. He's got laser eyes on. That's kind of common in the crypto community. Let's look a little bit deeper into MicroStrategy Analysis second quarter 2021 financial results. Now, what we're seeking to do here is to get to the numbers. We don't care about what people say. They can say whatever they want to say. We want to look at this. This data is actually what we want to look at. Now, what is it saying here? This is the column that we're interested in. This is a consolidated statement of operations, 2021, 3 months ended June 30, 2021. We can see total revenue here, $125.35 million. Cost of revenues, we can see that, $23.038 million. Gross profit, $102.313 million. We can see quite a good increase from quarter to quarter. Now, let's have a look here. What are we looking at? Operating expenses. Impairment is when they write down the asset value of something. Impairment is not like there was an actual expense. It's a paper-based expense. I've spent most of my life going through analysis like this, so I can share a couple of things with you. Let's have a look at this. This is $516.56 million in expenses. That way outweighs that gross profit. That's causing a loss. When we add in a number of other losses there, income expense from interest and other expenses, we get this loss. We've got a provision for taxes, and the net loss is this $299.347 million. But let's look at it differently. I just want to show you how this works. So the 125,351 is here. That 23,038 is there. So revenue, cost of revenue, those two. Gross profit is just an equation that we put in. Operating expenses, that 40 plus that 28 plus the 22 is this value. You can see that 4321, 28,548, 22,917 plus. But we're not putting in this impairment. Impairment is not a real expense. It's just a change in the carrying value of the assets. As Bitcoin went down, it's still down around 40% from its high. That's the impairment charge coming in there and creating a loss. Now, if we just take that profit figure, so basically we take the gross profit less these normal expenses with $0 on impairment, we get a $10.5 million profit. Okay, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? But what about these expenses? What's the loss before income taxes? It's $5.229 million. What does it mean? It means that if we take that impairment charge out, we actually end up with MicroStrategy being profitable. Now, of course, you say, okay, Ken, but what does that mean? It means that if I was interested, I would be buying MicroStrategy's shares right now. And why is that? Because they've got an impairment on the price of Bitcoin going down. Let's look a little bit further into these financials. I'm really impressed by these financials. Michael Saylor is doing a really good job of presenting the facts to people. I love to see integrity. Integrity is a rock solid foundation of good business and good life. We can see MicroStrategy bought a certain number of Bitcoin here. It increased the number of Bitcoin, raising their balance up to this 70, and then increased again by 20 and increased again by 13. Very transparent. Good on you, Michael. Good work. Now, they have 105,085 Bitcoin. And we know the price of Bitcoin has fallen dramatically. What does it mean? As Bitcoin recovers and does well, guess what's going to happen to the profitability of MicroStrategy? It's going to go through the roof. When we do the trend analysis every day, I take these numbers from Bitcoin treasuries. Now, what do we see with MicroStrategy? The number of Bitcoin correlates, is a perfect match to what they've filed. I love integrity. People with integrity don't waver. They stand on a rock solid foundation of belief, and that is created by numbers, not wild misplaced belief. People without integrity tend to waver around in the wind, up one day, down the next. It's really difficult to watch people with no integrity. I really like that there's so much transparency here. One of the problems with the crypto industry is there's a lot of lack of transparency. I really applaud anyone who is transparent and also who sticks to their guns. Let's just do a comparison. This 105.085, just remember that. Back to MicroStrategy's report, 105.085. I love it. This is what it's all about. Okay, we've fact-checked that news, and this particular news down here of that $299 million loss, Bitcoin's biggest corporate investor. Let's just have a quick look at that. It really depends on what you classify as a corporate investor. Public companies that own Bitcoin, absolutely, MicroStrategy is the largest company. If we look at countries and governments, private companies, well, they're corporate as well. They have 140,000. How does that compare to Michael's? Oh, 105,000. Well, they're bigger, aren't they? So block one is technically a bigger corporate. Corporate doesn't have to be public. It can be private as well. What about ETFs? What are the ETFs? Well, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust owns 654,600. Isn't that a corporate? Going back to the Forbes article, I just simply say, well, in one sense, it's correct, but in another sense, when you look through other data, maybe you could interpret it slightly differently. That's why I always look at the news with one eye closed, half my brain turned off, and one ear closed, because I really just want to see the data that I need to dig into. If you look at it that way, you'll never be disappointed. Okay, let's get into it. Crypto total market cap is currently $1.564 trillion. Quite a recovery, isn't it? When we look at this trend, it's a very solid trend. This is literally how every alt is moving in the crypto ecosystem. I think it's really good to understand that. Every video I do for you, I've hidden crypto gems throughout them. Unless you watch to the end, you'll miss them. See how many you can find. This is one. Knowing how this crypto total market cap actually moves will absolutely change the way that you can look at investing in your beloved altcoins. Here's another hidden gem. Please make sure you look at as many altcoins in their structure and nature and background. Do lots and lots of research. Okay, let's check out Bitcoin's technical analysis. Bitcoin is currently trading at $40,125. It has support below at $39,706 and $39,235. It has structural resistance above at 4741, and at that 41,000 is also a psychological level. It has resistance above that at around 41,555. Note this very key structural resistance coming into play around 42,083. Now, many people in the community are looking at this saying, oh my goodness, I think I've missed the opportunity to get into Bitcoin. It's really important to come back to that patience idea. Everything worthwhile takes time. What you could do, for example, say you had $1,000 and you were really concerned that you're going to miss Bitcoin's move. For one, that doesn't happen. We know the price is always moving in a wave. It waves up and then it waves down. It waves up and waves down. That's just normal. That's normal price action. But let's just say you don't want to miss anything. You could divide your $1,000 into buying at support. You could put, for example, and I'm not suggesting you do this, but this is just a by the way kind of comment. You could put, say, $200 at one level, 200 at another level of support down below, say 39,235, $200 lower than that, say 38,290, $200 at 37,230, and $200 at 36,171. You also have to be really careful about your fees. Certain particular platforms will charge a lot for you to place a fee. You always have to make sure that your fee is reasonable. It shouldn't really exceed 5% of what you're doing, because that means that you'll need to make up 5%. So for example, if you are placing $200 and the fee for going in is $20, that's 10%. That means you may want to readjust your position size to do $250 over 4 rungs. These things are important, but really understand as price comes down, you're actually making money. So the more that you can spread things out, the better. I'll return to this throughout this video. I want to really help people understand this. For myself, personally, I put buys at support all the way down to like 30,000. Now, why do I do that? I'm not expecting the price to go down 30,000, but you can never tell. Bitcoin is a bit of an animal. You can get sharp spikes down like this that repair very quickly. These are fantastic. We love catching these falling knives. We can get really quick sell-offs. For example, this was a very fast sell-off. So if you manage to sell the sharp spike up and then you were just layering down like this, you would have already picked up a couple of positions. It's a really, really good strategy. You'll learn more and more as we progress, but always seek to lower your average buy price. Don't worry about missing out. It's just simply not that way. I have a background in corporate finance, so I crunch the numbers for many multi-billion-dollar firms. What we are always interested in is to understand a growth in revenue. That's why I'm putting revenue in. This is what top-tier businesses would look at, so I want to put it on your radar. Total revenue over the past 30 days for Bitcoin, this is from Token Terminal, for Bitcoin, is $30.1 million. Understanding how revenue plays out in the market and also drives valuation is a real secret hidden gem. Another gem is that we want to understand the amount of leverage that is entering the market, especially how it's changing. We just look at the Bitcoin All Exchanges estimated leverage ratio to see here leverage was increasing. We had a couple of changes. Some exchanges were prevented from offering excessive leverage. Now they're just offering really rampant leverage, if you like. I would suggest that you really keep away from leverage. It can devastate you financially. Patience always. You don't have to make $1 million overnight. If you do happen to make it, you'll probably lose it the next day. Remember, unearned is returned. You really want to capture the all available knowledge and trade without any anxiety. You do that by placing your buy orders in advance. We can see here that the amount of leverage is starting to uptick. as the amount of leverage is increasing, we have to understand what way is it going. Is it short or is it long? You can see the market is a little bit divided, but this Binance exchange is a major exchange. It's got currently more longs than shorts. This is in the Bitcoin futures market under perpetuals. Let's have a look at the futures, predominantly long. Turning to options, we can see that the max pain price for the options expiration at the end of the month, coming up very shortly, is $35,000. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum's price, currently $24.32. It's just broken across this structural resistance line at $23.87. That's now a support. Another support below is $23.04. Resistance above is literally near the current price at $24.49. 2,500 is a psychological price that Ethereum generally gets caught around. There's a level of structural resistance coming into play at 2609. When we look at these sharp angles, they tend to reverse. This is a sharp angle. It will tend to reverse. It's really important that you look at past price action. Sharp angles tend to reverse. We can think that price is getting away from us. It rarely ever is. When you look to buy a specific thing, say you're interested in buying Ethereum now, maybe you've got a couple of $1,000 and you want to put $500 per level in over, say, 4 levels. If I was you, what I would do is this. I would pick midway between this resistance line, well now support line, and this support line. I put one $500 there at around $23.49. If I was doing the trading, I'm never in a hurry because I realize the price is negatively biased. I've got a lot of rules on how price tends to go down when we think it's going up. You only have to look back to the time when Bitcoin was trading so high and you thought, well, 64,000, it can't go any lower. And there was no shortage of people telling you that that was going to be the lowest price. Then what did we get? 30,000. You just have to trust the price moves in a wave. Okay, so we're then looking, say you could put another buy order there, another buy order at say 2304, 2253 and 2178. If you are a more confident trader or more confident long-term investor, you could actually layer those down, because we always remember if price falls, maybe I'll just show you, I think this is important. Okay, maybe for example, if price was to come down to here, for example, just around there, 7%, and then we say, instead of buying at the current price, watching price go down 7%, we buy 7% down, and when it comes up, it actually comes up a little bit more. That's the nature of percentages. I'll show you a bit more. That's probably easier to explain. If the price of Ethereum went all the way down to 1906, I'm not saying that's going to happen, I'm just using a bit of an example here, and you managed to buy at 1906 and then the price came back up to the current price, you would have made a 27% gain from a 21% loss. Do you understand how that works? The percentage up is always better. This is why we always try to buy lower than the current price as much as you can. We never know where it's going to go, but on average, price is negatively biased. That's a hidden gem. I hope that really helps you out. Let's look at Ethereum's revenue from token terminal over the past 30 days. It is $191.9 million. A lot of people are talking about Ethereum overtaking Bitcoin. They're quite different in their nature, but there's no question Ethereum has massive network effects. This is a really, really good thing to be in. As we did for Bitcoin, we also do for Ethereum. We can see this leveraging coming up, looking at the estimated leveraging ratio, but it's dropping down. People are not really interested in leveraging Ethereum like they want to leverage Bitcoin. Looking into the Ethereum perpetuals futures market, we can see the majority of perpetuals are long. Let's check the futures. We can see it's a kind of a mixed bag. Looking into options expiration, we see the options expiring at the end of the month. Maxpain price is 2200. You notice that it hasn't moved from that since we started looking into options. I'll give you another crypto gem. When we look at liquidations, we're looking for a very specific reason. I'll just explain as we go through. 24-hour liquidations are 126.16 million. We realized that there were about 500 million yesterday and about over $1 billion the day before that. 32,946 traders were liquidated over the past 24 hours. When we look across the past 12 hours, nearly 82% of liquidations were short. Now, when we go down a little bit further, we're looking for these big spikes. We don't really have any. We've got a degree of shorts getting liquidated here, but it's not a lot compared to this kind of behavior. When you get a lot of liquidations, you're seeing confirmation. Let's have a look on the 15-minute. We can see a lot of shorts being liquidated currently. If we have a look across, this is all liquidations. If we wanted to drive into Bitcoin liquidations, we could just do this and understand, or Ethereum liquidations, we could do this, or XRP, or ADA. Just giving you a bit of an insight into what we can do. We're much more interested in all liquidations across the market. This 126 is very low. That's what I would call a weak confirmation of price. Every day when I do these videos, I pay a lot of attention to the comments, to the questions asked of the community, and I try and wrap everything up where it belongs, say in trend or timing or a special episode. Rule 19, sharp angles reverse. This is a really important rule. Right now, if we look at psychological safety and liquidations, we can see a very sharp angle playing out. This has not occurred in Bitcoin's price history for quite a while. We've got to remember that we're coming up to a very key level of resistance. Resistance acts as a barrier. The bears in the market, the people who want to go short, will seek to push price down. This is really important to understand. Maybe I can just show you a little bit better from this perspective. Say we just do a tight particular line on that. What we're looking at here, and you can draw these lines a couple of different ways. I'm just seeking to draw it closer to existing price action. The bears will not want, the people who are going short will want to push this price down, and they will potentially put a lot of effort into doing that because they know if it gets across this line, it's going to go up. That's why it's quite common for price to go up and then down, and then a reassertion of this trend would push through that particular line. That's the most probable scenario. We know Bitcoin is a bit of an animal. It decides to do whatever it wants to do, but these probabilities are really important for you to understand. Literally all of trading and investing is probabilistic by nature. Let's have a look at fear and greed. It was 50 yesterday, it's 53 today. People are growing more confident. You remember back here, maybe around the time that a lot of people got into the market, Price was being advertised. It was going up and up and up. Look familiar? Look familiar? Look familiar? And when it goes up and up and up, of course, the short side of the market wants to sell it down. It wants to test how low it can push it. Sharp angles reversing almost perfectly at that point. Going up and up and up, shorting about a 50% retracement there. Angle going up and up, that is quite good, maybe about a 35%. This going up, the bears broke it. It retraced all the way back, really underneath this low, underneath this low. That's when the market was in trouble. The reason I started this channel is because I looked across the various YouTube channels. People were talking about melt your face off rallies, never going to go lower. I was looking at this price action and I started reaching out to people. There's a problem in the market. Please tell your people there's an issue here. The price is going to break down because of this push. Then when it came up and failed to make a higher high than this, I thought, wow, I can't help people unless I get into the market and start making these videos to assist. So it's really important to understand, when you listen to people who say all in, you have to really be careful. You shouldn't go all into anything. You need to protect yourself. Sometimes people put their life savings into these things. It's really important that you just take your time, gain the skills, gain the knowledge of how to do things, and just go from there. And when people say all in, can never go lower, beware. I don't think that that's it's not a position of integrity. Things can always go lower, and they do with Bitcoin. I'd also like to point out realized profit against Bitcoin's price. What we see is this big sharp up spike in realized profit. When we get a lot of realized profit inside the market, do you know what the shorts do? They say, yippee, feeding time, and they go towards it with all guns blazing to drive it down. They literally, the shorts transfer this profit to them. It's really important that you understand price is negatively biased. It's also really helpful to know that we've come up nearly 40%. That's a very big move up. We're starting to weaken here in terms of price, but it is still in an uptrend. Notice if you look back at these red boxes, price is always moving in a wave. It's always going up and it's going down, and the swings can be quite dramatic. Just keep your eye on patience. If you are patient, the opportunities will reset. Just think about it like this. You're not going to miss out on anything. In episode 152, I did a special episode on THETA and a potential Department of Justice probe. For that reason, we're starting to look at stable coins. If we look at the Bitcoin stablecoin supply ratio SSR oscillator, we can see stable coins are being deployed into Bitcoin. The two major stable coins are THETA with a balance or market cap of $61.8 billion and USD coin with a balance or market cap of $27.4 billion. These are the two that we need to track. Of course, there are other ones, and members of the community have pointed them out. To see if people are doing a flight to safety from THETA, we just look at circulating supply. We can see there's been a bit of a downtick here. When we go across to USD coin circulating supply, we can see that it has an uptick. Many people talked about Bitcoin USD, BUSD. We can see Bitcoin USD is increasing as well. It's important to realize that BUSD realistically only works on the Binance platform. BUSD is helpful to reduce trading costs and trading fees on Binance platforms. A lot of people have also been talking about DAI, so let's just do an analysis on that, we can see it's increasing, but its market cap is very, very low, 5.5 billion in comparison to the other ones. But we'll keep our eye on this. Let's see what happens. If Tether gets into real problems, there could be a Tether put, basically people wanting to short Tether because it would depeg. So we're actually watching the USDT futures markets. We see longs here, and in the futures, perpetuals and futures, it's long, but there's only 123k of volume here. It's not a lot. A crypto gem is if we saw a lot of volume, especially surging on the short side, we would be a little bit concerned. Everything that we do as a community is to create an early warning system for our community to be ahead of everyone. This episode has been a little bit longer than normally done, but I really wanted to share some insights with you. I want to look after the community as best I can. Let's have a look at the top 7. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, Binance Coin, Cardano, XRP, and USDC. Top 24-hour percent gainers: Quant, Sol, Ontology, Synthetics, Rune, Nano, and Maker. Let's go the other way. Greatest losses: Leo, Luna, AMP, Axie Infinity, MDX, Helium, and UST, which is a stablecoin. Let's have a look at the greatest 7-day percent gainers: Quant, AMP, Rune, Axie Infinity, OKB, Luna, and Phantom. Going the other way to the greatest percent losers over 7 days: Comp, MDX, SHIB, Sushi, KCS, and stablecoins. Let's have a look through Binance derivatives. 24-hour trading volume was 50.1 billion and 24-hour open interest 7.1 billion. We're interested in the change of the price of the contract over the past 24 hours. We can see Bitcoin is sitting at around 1%. See Ethereum sitting around 7%. That's why it's got so much force under it. If we look at the other particular percentages, we can see Bitcoin Cash has got a bit of an interest, 7.3%, Uni 9.1%, Sol 17.1%. We're really trying to seek out double digits. SXP, Rune, SRM at 16.6%. If we look a bit further, MKR 10.6%, Band 12.8%, SC 10.2%. You notice how many of these are USDT. Important to understand that if there is a Tether problem, you really need to be careful with your holdings. It could hit the crypto market. We're not seeing it yet, but we need to be aware of it. KNC at 10.1%, ZRX 10.3%, MTL 12.5%. It's really good for you to understand that when you are in any particular market, there's always a lot of anxiety and stress. All we can do is to have a system, and that's what I'll be sharing with you across all of these episodes, just laying all the foundations in place for you. Turning to Binance Coin, BNB is currently 323.06. It is above support at 318.46 and 309 even. Has 2 levels of resistance above, 327.48 and 339. And then it starts to get into this structural resistance coming into play around the 358 mark. We know structural resistance is typically hard to break through. Cardano has been in a bit of a channel, hasn't it? It's been range bound. At least it's going up, but it's been very range constrained. ADA is currently trading at 130.62, support below at 128.48 and 126.28, resistance above effective resistance above at 133.43 and 137.43. XRP is on a bit of a tear at the moment. It's currently trading at 75.19, support below at 73.85 and 71.49. It's very good that people are starting to share what they believe are the issues that drive specific alts. These are your beloved alts, and I'm here for the community. I don't hold any particular position on one alt versus another alt. They're all good. If you would like to keep on sharing issues with me that I can put in as newsworthy items on this chart, I'd really appreciate it. Looking at higher levels of resistance for XRP, resistance is at 77.37 and 79.94. I've had a lot of questions on the BTC alt gearing relationship and Bitcoin's fingerprint in terms of correlation and a lot of other things. It's important to note that Bitcoin's fingerprint is directionally correlated with the alts. That's different from straight up statistical correlation. I spent many years as a lecturer in first and second year university statistics. It's really interesting to see different websites put out correlations, but the BTC alt gearing factor is not related to that correlation. It's actually quite different. When you look at the BTC fingerprint, the Bitcoin fingerprint, the directional bias of Bitcoin will play out on the alts. The way, look at this, it's really, really interesting. What I see here is the power in XRP. You can see Bitcoin had a high, which is here, had a lower high, which is down here, had a roundabout high, which is lower in terms of this, but when it came up, it would expect to come up to that second high, which is about here. XRP shot above that. That's actually what we're looking at. I invented BTC alt gearing as a way to explain the power behind different alts. I love looking through the alts. So many people in the crypto community are so Bitcoin centric. I'm alt centric. I just know that Bitcoin plays such a major role. I hope that helps. That's a secret hidden crypto gem for you. Dogecoin is currently trading at 20.865. It has resistance above at 21.095 and 22.200. It has support below at 19.990 and 18.753. Gavin Wood must be very happy. Polkadot is doing well on a marching uptrend. It's currently trading at 15,500, just above support at 15,357, lower level of support at 14,748, a level of resistance above at 16,441, now coming into structural resistance at 17,297. The reason that we look across so many alts is that we want to understand where different resistances are playing in throughout the market. It's really helpful to predict and then to apply to your beloved alts. That's another hidden gem. Chainlink is doing well. We can see that this upward support has remained in a very strong position. This fresh air above the support line is really, really healthy. That's what we always look at. We need strength. That's a gem for you as well. Link is currently trading at 20.051. It's literally at its support. There's a level of support below at 19.498 and 18.960. Resistance above at 20.699 and 21.280. Link is also coming up to a level of structural resistance at 21.807. From its low, THETA has come up over 92%. This is really worthwhile understanding. when we look at this downward resistance, THETA has actually come across and turned that to support. That's really good. We notice this upward support line has held with fresh air above it. It's also very good. THETA is currently trading at 6,063. It has support at 5,816 and 5,374. Resistance above at 6,490 and 6,779. I'd like to give you another hidden gem. Let's have a look at MATIC, Polygon. If we go from this high around the 30th of June and follow it down to that falling knife that occurred inside the market, that is a 50% reduction. Now, you might think, well, okay, if I bought there and it managed to recover there, that would raise it back up to that 50%. It wiped that loss out if you bought here. Actually, look what happened. When we go from the point of the falling knife up to the sharp spike up, it's an increase of 81.46%. Let's just say it's 82% to keep it easy. So 51% down, 82% up. That is the power of lowering your average buy price. You can be 10 times more profitable by buying at lower levels of support. It means that you basically just place the order and walk away. Don't worry about looking at it, just disconnect from it. Perhaps the easiest way to think about it is that everything that's good, it's not instant. It doesn't come overnight. If you go to uni, you're going to study for 3 or 4 years. It's not something that you just rock up to uni, one day later you get your degree. If it was, you wouldn't know anything. It's really important to put the time in. Just be patient. It's a part of life. I'd like to introduce you to Rule 104. It takes time. Firstly, I'd like to thank our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. You're just such amazing people. Thank you for everyone that helps inside the community. Really beautiful. And if you're new here, you're so welcome. Please join our community. Rule 104, it takes time. And you say, Ken, what do you mean it takes time? I'm glad you asked. It takes time. It takes time to acquire knowledge. It takes time to identify what to put your money into. Remember, research, research, research. Look for integrity. Integrity is really important. It takes time to let price come to you. Letting price come to you, what it means is you layer buy. You buy down, you buy down, you buy down, you buy down. The lower the better, which often means you need to concentrate and not have 500 altcoins. But you can be aware of 500, that's fine. You can trade in and out of hundreds if you wish, but at any one time, try not to hold more than 3 to 5. That way you concentrate your firepower and you can put margins down, levels down to buy at support. It's really powerful. It takes time to withstand the turbulence of the market. It takes time to exit at your target. And of course, the most important thing, it takes time to grow internally to accept and then retain success. What we do every episode, I'm strengthening every part of you to grow internally to accept and retain success. That's really my mission. I want you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. It's really fantastic to look at the return on investment across crypto. Bitcoin is the proxy, gold, S&P 500, to understand how those things are moving. They'll all go up and down differently. Bitcoin currently across the past year has actually generated 267% return. Gold is down 7%. The S&P 500 is up 36%. I would like to point out this to you as well. active addresses in Bitcoin, 868,607. That's lower than it was yesterday. That's interesting. We're going to keep our eye on this. Mining reward value for the past 24 hours, 37 million. This is from KSMethod.com. What a cool website. If you have any other websites that you would like me to look through, please let me know. I always love to give people credit for what they call out for the community. Everybody looks after everybody inside our community. We have an amazing community filled with amazing people. I see the foundations of our community as strength, integrity, hard work, and kindness. I'd like to thank everybody that's a part of our mission to improve your financial well-being, to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Every day when I do these videos, I'm doing it for the community. That's my focus. You are my focus. If you could help me to understand what, if you're invested in Bitcoin or Ethereum or BNB or DOGE or XRP, whatever you're invested in, could you please let me know what particular coins? If you could let me know the percentage as well, that would be fantastic, because that'll give me a really, really good idea on where to focus to get the best value for you from these videos. I'm really focused on that. But please, you don't need to share how much money you have in anything. Just the say it's Ethereum 20%, something like that. That would be great, whatever it is that reflects your portfolio. I hope you found this content useful. Everything I do for you is free. Please be aware of scammers. And thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from. And of course, if you have any questions, I'm very happy to incorporate the answers to those questions in upcoming videos. If you would like twice daily updates 7 days a week on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube. We have 100% free groups that you can join on Facebook and Discord, and you can always reach out to me on Twitter as well. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Prepare yourself for the best and the worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.